Both good fighters. Islam moving up. It's interesting to see what's he gonna do. But I think Islam will be.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely one of the biggest fights of the year so far, you know. And it's a big challenge. That's what I'm always chasing, the tough challenges. Yeah, I'm just excited to go out there, perform for my team, perform for my country, and put on a good show and retain the belt.
So UFC 322 is almost here, and seriously, everyone's buzzing about how this main event is going to go down. Jack Della Maddalena looks like a real threat to Islam. But get this, Makhachev? He's not worried at all. He's totally backing Islam to snag his second UFC belt. And Jack Della Maddalena, he knows it won't be a walk in the park either. He actually calls Islam Makhachev super well-rounded. We're talking strong striking, power shots with elbows, knees, kicks, punches, all from that south post stance. Jack isn't just seeing a grappler here. He really thinks Islam is one of the best martial artists out there, tough in every single spot. Even so, Jack totally believes he's got the upper hand when they're standing, as long as he makes the smart plays.
When it comes to the striking of Islam Makhachev, I saw an interview with you in Style Bender, where you said you would rate it above Khabib. In general, how would you rank his stand-up if it were to stay on the feet?
I think he's got good stand-up. He's a well-rounded. He throws it all, elbows, knees, kicks, punches. He's got power, southpaw. It's a tough fight, you know. I definitely don't look at him as just a grappler. And yeah, the fight isn't just keeping it on the feet and it's going to be easy. The fight is pretty much, the whole fight, it's a tough fight. One of the best martial artists in the world, you know. So there's no, I definitely I don't look at him as just a grappler. I think his strength is obviously in the grappling, but it's still a tough fight on the feet and I've got to make the right decisions. But I think I've got the upper hand on the feet.
So Jack's whole game plan is to keep this fight on their feet and go for a finish. He's totally expecting Islam to try a ton of takedowns. But Jack says he'll just pop right back up every single round. Then he'll just land those precise strikes to wear Islam down and eventually get the stoppage. He even said it's going to be like that fight with Bilal, but with more takedowns from Islam. He's dreaming of that finish at MSG, ready to blow the roof off. But here's the twist. Middleweight champ Makhachev sees it going totally differently. He's stoked about Islam moving up in weight, but he thinks Islam Makhachev is definitely taking this one. Khamzat believes Islam will lean hard on his wrestling to control the fight, and that grappling will just slowly shut down Jack's striking as they go.
Jack or Islam? Well, Islam will get the and Jack will get it. My Jack trainer, asking his coach brother, wait, what he gonna say? We'll see. Your opinions?
10% od Madalenas.
O, Islam doktor je zvedal.
Delal sam problem.
Štítl je to. Coach says 55% Maddalena, 45 Islam, but I think Islam, we will see. Both good fighters. Islam moving up, it's interesting to see what's he gonna do. But I think Islam will be more, he gonna use his wrestling more in this fight.
Now, Neil Magny, he actually thinks Jack Della Maddalena has a really strong shot at winning this. He's pointing to Jack's ability to just shut down wrestling, especially how he did it against Bilal Muhammad. Magny stresses that a lot of people just assume Islam Makhachev is going to be exactly like Khabib, but those two fighters, they're totally different. He truly believes Jack has all the right tools to shock a lot of fans and maybe even pull off the upset.
Feel on this fight? Like, do you have a good feeling on who you think might win this one?
Yeah, I mean, this is my unbiased opinion. I'm not just saying this because I'm in Australia, but I feel like JDM has a really good chance going into this fight. I mean, he's definitely proven himself being able to shut down the wrestling in his fight against Bilal Muhammad here most recently. And I think he's gonna go out there and really shock a lot of people. I mean, I think a lot of people are giving him credit. You're accustomed to seeing guys like Islam win, and you're accustomed to associating his success with Khabib's success. But at the end of the day, those guys are two completely different fighters, and I think JDM definitely has the tools to go out there and shock a lot of people and beat Islam.
Listen, Luke Thomas, thinks the real secret for Jack Della Maddalena to beat Islam Makhachev is all about his takedown defense and making sure Islam can't get his back. He's saying that if this fight stays mostly on their feet, Islam is going to have some serious problems. Yeah, Islam's got skills standing up, but Thomas argues that Jack's ability, plus Islam moving up in weight, gives Jack a huge edge if it turns into a striking war.
Going to be the X factor here for JDM to be able to beat someone as accomplished and difficult as Islam Makhachev here.
Back exposure and takedown defense and wrestling up, period. I mean, it just doesn't seem very difficult for me to think that if this fight is a striking contest predominantly, Islam's going to have real problems. Islam is not a striker by any stretch of the imagination. I think everyone would agree, but he's not JDM. And again, up a weight class too, not just in terms of pure ability, but how that leverages up a weight class. If he can make this a striking contest, then, you know, predominantly, not exclusively of course, but predominantly, then I feel like it's his fight to lose, to be honest with you.
On top of that, Luke Thomas doubles down, explaining that Jack Della Maddalena absolutely has to avoid those takedowns and keep his back safe if he wants a real shot at winning. He adds that even if Jack does get taken down, he needs to scramble up super fast, without leaving any little openings for submissions. Thomas is really emphasizing that controlling those wrestling battles and not exposing his back, plus his striking, are all going to be crucial for Jack to snag this victory.
But, you know, if he's constantly getting taken down, if he is being held down, if he is giving up back exposure, even then he might be able to find ways to win, but it makes the job radically more difficult. This is, if you're going to get first of all, don't get taken down. And if you're going to get taken down, don't create back exposure and wrestle up quickly without creating submission opportunities. Like, that is the name of the game, in addition to how you set that up with your striking. But that wrestling up, back exposure, takedowns, he cannot have that be a significant part of this fight and I think win.
What's crazy is Luke Thomas also shared this wild story about Islam Makhachev sparring with middleweight Punahele Soriano. He remembers Soriano, who's a full 105-pound fighter, just getting completely overwhelmed during a 2-hour session. Seriously, he couldn't land a single thing or even get any control. Thomas is really pushing how dominant Islam was, leaving Soriano totally stunned and just unable to match that skill level.
So it was funny. He was saying one time, this was during the pandemic, he was rolling up to Extreme Couture and he had no one to train with for whatever time. And he called up Ali and he's like, I got no one to train with. They're like, oh yeah, we'll send Islam to go. And he was Soriano at the time was a full 85er. And he said Makhachev murdered him for 2 hours. He couldn't do anything to him. He was like, I'm an 85er and this guy's a 55er. I can't do this guy. You know, and you're hearing I've just noticed there's a lot of that happening.
And on another note, Thomas also mentioned that Islam Makhachev absolutely needs to go for an early finish to stay ahead of Craig Jones's super specialized game. He thinks the key is to get the fight to the ground super fast and exploit any openings before Jones even has a chance to settle in. That's how Islam gets the upper hand there.
Well, I think that Islam's best chances are going to be really, really early. And I said it, if he can get him down early. Now, the Craig Jones element is a hack. It is a cheat code. Now, if you can get a man down early and just finish him before he gets started on his cheat codes, problem solved. If I'm Islam, you got to try to catch this man, because Jack's not the great, like, he wasn't like the greatest grappler prior, right? Like he doesn't come from like a grappling background. Like, he's competent, but if you can catch him early and get him to make a mistake early and then just never let him out, never let him get to his cheat code, that's where Islam's going to excel.
But here's the thing, Robert Whitaker, he's expecting a super tough matchup for Jack Della Maddalena. Still, he's totally confident that Jack can rise to the occasion. He just loves Jack's drive and that competitive spirit, describing him as someone who just thrives in the hardest situations and always finds a way to beat the odds, just like we've seen him do against other top contenders before.
I don't think it'll be an easy fight for Jack, but I believe in Jack. I think he's got that X factor. He's got that hunger there. You know, he's got the ticker. And, you know, just like with Bilal, just like with Burns before, I think he can do the impossible.
Plus, Eugene Behrman, he's throwing his full support behind Jack Della Maddalena, saying Jack really represents their whole part of the world. He pointed out that, hey, Islam Makhachev isn't some invincible force. He brought up Islam's past knockout loss and even Alexander Volkanovski's fight against him as proof that there's absolutely a way to win. Behrman knows some fans might not agree with that, but he's standing firm. There's already a clear blueprint out there to beat Makhachev.
What is your feel on this one? And also, what do you think of the odds, man? Islam very heavy favorite going into this one.
Okay, yeah, so, yeah, I mean, I was obviously backing Jack. Like, Jack's, you know, he's one of the boys from our neighborhood, so he's from outside of the world. And look, Islam, there's a blueprint for beating Islam. He's been knocked out before. And Volk's beaten him already. You know what I'm saying? People are going to come in the comments about that.
What's more, Eugene Behrman explained that even though countering Islam Makhachev's wrestling is super tough, there are still patterns you can definitely exploit. He noticed Islam is great at landing those single, precise strikes, but his weaknesses, those show up when he's forced into longer exchanges. Behrman thinks that if you make Islam throw a bunch of combinations under pressure, it opens up chances that a disciplined striker, someone like Jack Della Maddalena, can totally jump on.
So yeah, there's a bit of a blueprint out there. Look, if you can, obviously it's a difficult thing to counter the wrestling, but Islam, you know, you'll find holes. What you have to do with Islam is you have to get him. He's very good at throwing one shot. He can pick you off and throw one shot very well. So you need to put Islam in a position where he has to fight to win the round, and that means he has to put 2 and 3 punches together. His vulnerabilities come when he has to fight with you and put 2 or 3 punches together. That's when the holes start appearing, and that's because you just, you know, like, yeah, you're a wrestler. Like at a high level, the holes start really appearing when there's a lot of pressure, and you have to put 2 or 3 punches together to hang with the other person. And that's where Jack will find the vulnerabilities, but they know that, bro. They're a very smart team.
And then there's Stephen Thompson, who's finding this matchup super hard to predict. He's noting that moving up to welterweight, that 170-pound division, brings some major physical challenges. He explains that a lot of those fighters at 170 cut down from over 200 pounds. So that could really make things tough for Islam Makhachev. Even with his solid build, Thompson thinks Islam's grappling definitely gives him a shot, but he also points out that Jack Della Maddalena has already gone up against some elite wrestlers in this division. So this is going to be a seriously demanding test for both guys.
I don't know, man. I mean, when you're going up to the welterweight division, those are some big boys. And I know Islam Makhachev walks around fairly heavy, but a lot of these 170s, they walk around real heavy. I'm talking about, you know, over 205, 210 to 215. Some of the guys that I've faced would walk around at that weight. I mean, I think like the height, I think they might be the same height. I think JDM might be a little taller, but when it comes to those guys and their strength, Islam, I think, is going to have a tough time. Now, do I think he could get it done? Yes. I think he's that good of a grappler. But like I said, JDM has faced some of the best welterweight grapplers and wrestlers in the division. Bilal being one of them. I think it's going to be a tough night for him.
What's more, Michael Bisping is really highlighting Islam Makhachev's incredible achievement, 4 consecutive lightweight title defenses. That actually exceeds the records of all prior champions. He's really praising Islam's super courageous choice to move up in weight, seeing it as a total testament to his champion mentality. Bisping points out that fighting on iconic stages like Madison Square Garden is every fighter's dream, and Islam has absolutely earned it. He adds that whenever Makhachev eventually hangs up his gloves, he can do it feeling totally confident, knowing he faced and conquered the very best in the sport.
I think I'm right in saying this, the most successful lightweight ever, defended the belt 4 times.
Yep.
The record previously was 3, you know, so that's phenomenal. And we all know about the lightweight division and how stacked that is. I mean, he's defended the belt 4 times. You know, he's, from what I understand, quite a simple man, you know, so, you know, be great, step up to another weight class, take out someone else, you know, Madison Square Garden. These are the moments that as a fighter we live for, these kind of super fight moments, you know. Of course, you know, he's making a tremendous living. He doesn't want to do this forever, and he can go back to his farm in Dagestan and he can live a nice, simple life and know that he's been there, done that, and tested himself. That's what we want to do.
Building on that, Michael Bisping is just applauding Islam Makhachev for moving up to welterweight, calling him the most successful lightweight in UFC history. He really respects that Islam completely skipped over any easy title defenses. Instead, he challenged himself against bigger, stronger fighters. Bisping sees that decision as a sign of true championship ambition, showing Makhachev wants to leave a legacy in a second division, not just stick around and dominate one.
And this is why I respect Islam doing it now, when he's defended the belt 4 times. He's defended the belt 4 times, the lightweight division. He's kind of gone through all the big stars there. Okay, let's go up to welterweight. Let's try something new. Let's try and do something that's never been done. Whereas a lot of the time we see fighters, they instantly become the champ and they want to defend, they want to challenge for another belt in another weight class because there's no risk there. There's no risk. If you lose, you're still the champ at 155 or whatever weight class it is. He's done it. He's defended the belt 4 times. He's proven that he was the legitimate best fighter at 155 pounds on planet Earth. And he's done that 5 times, won the belt and then defended it 4 times. And now he said, right, I've done that. I've clearly proven that at 155, I'm the man. Let's see if I can do it at 170. It's incredible.
But on the flip side, Jack Della Maddalena's coach, Ben Vickers, is just oozing with confidence about Jack's finishing power, saying one clean shot could literally end this fight at any second. He emphasized that Jack isn't someone who rushes for a knockout. He actually loves being in those long competitive battles, but he's always ready to jump on an opening if it shows up. Vickers actually praised Jack's endurance, even recalling how he managed to outlast Belal Muhammad, who everyone knows is a stamina machine. He described Jack's combination of conditioning and power as this super dangerous mix, and honestly, he sounds genuinely hyped about this matchup.
It's a situation where this is going to be an eventual down the line, like 3rd, 4th round, or do you think people might even be shocked to see it happen earlier on?
We know for a fact if Jack clips someone clean on the chin, they can go over. So it could happen in the 1st minute, it could happen in the 24th minute, it could happen in the 24 minute 59 seconds, it could happen 3 rounds in. Jack likes long fights, he likes to be in there, but obviously we're not getting paid for overtime. So if the opportunity arises, we're happy to take it. But Jack's cardio, as we saw, Bilal's reputedly the best cardio in the UFC, and Jack out cardioed him. Belal was more tired than Jack towards the end of the fight. So Jack's cardio is exceptional, his power is exceptional, and yeah, I like the fight. I really do.
On the other hand, Islam's coach, Javier Mendez, he's putting out a serious warning. Underestimating Islam Makhachev would be a huge mistake. He's really stressing that what happens inside that cage is totally different from what opponents expect. He explained that after over 10 years of training with Makhachev, he's seen Islam completely dominate strikers who are actually considered technically better on their feet. Mendez is making it crystal clear, no fighter relying purely on striking is going to have an easy time here. He's insisting that Makhachev's stand-up skills are way more dangerous than most people realize until they actually face him.
For his stand-up, do you feel like people are kind of missing some of the X factors that Islam brings with his striking?
If he's saying that, I hope that he goes in believing that, because when he gets in there with Islam, you're going to find out a whole different story, because I'm sorry, they're completely different. And by no means is Islam an easy for anybody on the stand-up. Any MMA fighter that's a striker, that's not going to have an easy time with him. I've been with this kid going on 11 years of watching him just destroy everybody on the stand-up, guys that are much better stand-up than him, and he still destroys them. So no, don't go by what you see. When you get in there with that man, it's a whole different ballgame.
Meanwhile, Nick Banhill is finding this matchup between Islam Makhachev and Jack Della Maddalena super interesting. He's highlighting that Jack's reach and his striking style create challenges that Islam doesn't really face all that often. While he absolutely acknowledges Makhachev as one of the most complete fighters in MMA, Banhill points out that longer, precise strikers have actually given Islam trouble before, and that's what makes this fight so compelling to watch.
From a technical side, this fight is intriguing because what we're seeing out of Jack Della Maddalena is a totally different style of fighting and body type than what we've seen Islam compete against at 155. Yeah. Now, Jack is a very high level striker, and we've seen him have a ton of success at 170 against other great strikers and grapplers, but nobody at Islam Makhachev's level. Now, skill for skill, most people still have Islam Makhachev as the most well-rounded fighter in the UFC. But this style versus style is very intriguing because Islam has had trouble against rangy strikers, people who can extend their punches and find his target at the end of his strikes.
Plus, Nick Banhill thinks Jack Della Maddalena is going to come out super aggressive, but he believes Islam Makhachev's whole approach will really dictate how this fight plays out. He notes that Islam usually just sticks to his core strengths, focusing on takedowns, control, and ground attacks, rather than only relying on his striking. Banhill adds that Makhachev will still use those precise punches and kicks to keep distance, kind of like he did in that Volkanovski rematch.
How Islam approaches this fight camp is going to dictate where this fight takes place. Islam is not like most guys where once they start finding knockouts or once they start having a lot of success with their feet, they wind up becoming knockout artists. Islam still knows his best way to win this fight is by taking Jack to the ground and cooking him and then basically finding a submission or some ground and pound. I don't see Islam going out there trying to just strike with the high-level striker, but I also don't see him selling out for a takedown. I think Islam's going to go out there and be measured the way we saw him against Volk in the second fight. He's going to stay on the outside. He's going to look to strike and throw some kicks.
All right, so that's all for today's video. How do you see this crazy matchup playing out? Seriously, drop your predictions down in the comments below. And if you enjoyed all this content, don't forget to hit that like button and make sure you subscribe to our channel for even more amazing videos.